Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for spending some time with me today. The card I have to share with you is this one here. It's a Marigold card, and as you know I love florals. So I've done a stamps using this suite of products, but I haven't used the dies yet, so I'd rectified that. Now this background is actually one die, and it's also from the two-tone floral, which is a separate die set, but isn't it gorgeous? So let me show you a trick with this die. This is the die, and I've taken a quarter sheet of A4 paper and I've run it through the Big Shot. I did run it through a few times because it's such an intricate die, and I just held it in place with some post-it note tape. So just going to remove that. Just gently remove it. Yeah, trying to find the edge. There we go. And now I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and your Take Your Pick tool has two ends. This end has this little marking here with like a locking thing, and it comes out. I've got my pointy tool in here, but it comes out and you've got this little spatula on the end. And I'm going to put on my brush, my die brush, and you're just going to lock it into position. I think I've taken the wrong side off. Sorry, I don't use my die brush very often, sometimes I forget. So you're going to take off this side actually with the, this is it, with the sticky on, and you're just going to roll this one in here. There you go. And now we're going to take this and just roll it across the back of our die. Sorry for all this noise, but this is going to help us remove the die really easily. You're going to see I've just got it on a piece of foam underneath, and you're going to see all those pieces are coming out. So let's just go over it once more to get rid of as much as possible. You can see a lot of it's come out now, so let's just take it out. It comes out the die beautifully, and you can see most of it's come out now. So I'm just going to go across here with my die brush to get the rest of it out, like that, as you can see. So I'm just going to dump all of this in the bin, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've thrown away all the bits, so we're left with our piece here. So let's start to assemble the first part of our card. I have a card base here, and this is thick basic white, so it's a standard A6 card base. It's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And on top of this I'm going to put a piece of Orchid Oasis Designer Series paper, and this just measures 14.85 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. It's basically a quarter sheet of A4. Same size as a quarter sheet of A4. I'm just going to put this, and this is exactly the same size as our card base, so there will be no border. So I'm putting some Tombow on, because it'll just give me a little bit of wriggle room just to wriggle this around and make sure that I have it properly covered. Try again. There's a little bit at the top there that wasn't covered. There we go, that will do. If there's any excess hanging off the side, you could always just cut that off with a scissors. So let's get my scissors out. I can see a tiny bit here at the edge, just a really tiny piece. Okay, cut that off. It's so small you could almost just have left it. Okay, and then on top of that we are going to put our die cut. So now you could have done this with adhesive sheet, but I somehow find it easier to do it this way. Somehow if I use adhesive sheet on the back I struggle to get all the bits out. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But I'm just going to use some Tombow. It'll also give me then a little bit of wriggle room when I put it on to get things properly straight. So I'm just using the Tombow, and I'm just trying to be as light-handed as I can. Sometimes so light that nothing comes out, which is not, you do need something. I'm just trying to put dots here, there and everywhere so that it will stick. It is a very delicate die, so just treat it with a little bit of respect and take your time with it and be absolutely fine. Cuts out beautifully. Some people forget in the two-tone Flora, because you've got the dies that match the stamp set and they use the stamp set, they forget that there's gorgeous other die there as well. And it's one of the reasons I don't store my dies always with my stamp sets, because then I feel I only use it with that stamp set. I don't use it with something else. Whereas I've got all my dies in a box, in a little container, all my current dies. So then if I want to do something, I can just flip through the current dies and just see, you know, and sometimes I can just use the dies and not use the stamps. Especially as I don't catalogue my stamps like some people do. They take time to stamp them all out in a catalogue and a ring binder and everything. I used to try to do that. It didn't work for me, put it that way. I just couldn't keep up with it. Just didn't work for me. Even on the shelf, my stamps aren't catalogued, really. They're catalogued into, well, they're sort of catalogued, I suppose. You've got Christmas and everything else. Oh, and background stamps. But otherwise, that's as far as my cataloguing goes. So that's what we've got so far. Isn't it pretty? So pretty. So let's set that aside just to sort of take and dry and everything. And let's focus on our marigolds. Now we're going to use the marigold dies, and it's these two dies here that I've used to cut out everything. I've cut out the backs with Mango Melody, and I've cut out the fronts with Calypso Coral. So all we're going to do now is stick one to the other, so that's back to Tombow. And this is the second one. As you can see, they're really easy to line up. There's no hassle with these at all. They line up so simply. Okay, so that's our marigolds done, and my hands are now beautifully gluey. Then let's let everything dry and do the little bit of stamping. So I'm going to stamp in Calypso Coral ink. The stamps that I'm going to use is this one called Amazing Year, and I'm just going to use this little bit that says Happy Birthday. So I'm just going to get a scrap of basic white cardstock. Just look for a scrap, there's one. And Calypso Coral, ink it up and down. There we go, Happy Birthday. Close this back up before there's a problem. Okay, and I think these should be dryish enough to the next stage. I should say I've also cut some foliage, as you can see here. Now I just used for quick ease the bow punch, and as is my wont, I did too much the first time, and so I've got plenty left over. And this is just out of Pear Pizzazz cardstock, so I've punched all of those out. So I'm going to do some sponging of the edges, so bring in my sponge daubers here. I'm going to start off with Calypso Coral ink, and what I'm going to do is just catch the edges, and it just makes such a difference just giving this different variations in colour. So just the edges here, going to get them nice and dark. And then I'm just going to sponge just very randomly a little bit in the inside, just like that. Now, I don't think you can see it very well on the camera, but it does make a big difference in real life. And I just got this container to keep my sponges just online, which has been useful. One thing I do want to do, and I keep meaning to do it and I don't do it, is I want to wash all my sponges and then label them with it. I don't mind using different sponges in the same colour family, like red or light blue, dark green, but I want to label some of these. But sometimes when there's dark colours, you can't tell which is a dark purple and which is a blue, and I want to label them all, but that's a job for another day. Do you like organisation videos? Would you like to see any of my organisation? Would that be useful or helpful to you? Let me know in the comments below. I love to watch craft room tours and organisation videos and such like. So if you are like me and you like to see that kind of thing and you'd like to see me do a video about that, then just let me know. So we're just trying to see what's going on with this leaf. Just going to sponge our leafy bits here as well, and we're just going to use a green. I think this is a green. See what I mean? When it gets dark you can't always tell, and I'm just sponging on the top because it's so much easier than trying to sponge around the edges. And I'm not really paying any attention, they're so small to where the light is or anything. I'm just giving some differentiations in colour. Okay, so that's our sponging done. Close this up. See, it's so handy, and it's great if you're going to crops or retreats just to take that with you. It's so easy. I love it. Okay, final piece. We're going to cut out our sentiment using our trimmer, and I'm going to cut quite close to my sentiment. Can't hold it. If you can't hold it because there's not enough space, just use a piece of washi tape, or I use post-it note tape, and I'll hold it nicely in place. And I want a little bit more off the top than that, so just hold it in place with some post-it note tape. Really simple. There we go. Happy birthday. Get rid of the trimmer, shake the camera, sorry about that. Okay, get rid of these pieces, and then I'm just going to use a scrap of Calypso Coral cardstock, and I'm just going to use this to mat it, and then we are going to start layering everything up. So there we go. Scissors. I'm just going to trim around it like that. Not totally perfect, but I'm happy with that. So let's start to assemble now. I'm going to bring in our card base. I just love it, it's so pretty. Can't get over how pretty it is. And layer these up somehow in a way that pleases you. Maybe like that. So these two I want to stick down. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put glue in the centre so I can tuck easily. You can always add a bit more glue afterward if you so wish. I'll put on a little bit, I think, actually, just there, just to pin it down onto the other one. Okay, and this one I'm going to pop up on a dimensional. So again, I'm just going to put a couple of dimensionals in the centre so I can tuck underneath. Can always add a few more later on if you so wish. Okay, and then our foliage. Let's play about with that now. Yeah, that's okay. And now I'm going to use another dimensional and just put it underneath here. I don't know exactly where everything is, just to hold it. I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of our sentiment. There we go, just like that. And then finishing touches, I've got some of these pastel pearls here. Oops. I'm just going to use this sort of silvery colour here in a few places, just in 3 different spots. So maybe here, there, that's better. And here, I think, yeah. Okay, so there are your 2 cards. I hope you enjoyed the project. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. If you want any more information about the project, measurements, supply list, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website, and the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.